Hi there. The Goon02 is tagging all his subscribers, and he asks us a couple of questions. And the first question is, what versus game would you like to see happening, or which two companies would you see posed against each other, actually? And I thought the Atlas Square Enix one would be very nice, but I'm not sure what type of versus game that would be. It might be some sort of turn-based fighter thing, which could actually be interesting. You know, you have the side view with the fighters, and would actually be very weird. But Nintendo versus Sega would also be very nice, actually. But you know, let's move on to the second question. So, question number 2: would you like to see another software company get into the hardware video game market without, just like that? I agree that another player in the games market would actually perhaps crowd it yet again. But in the past there were a lot of companies competing for dominance. Atari, I mean, another Atari console would actually be amazing, but another Sega console would also be very, very good. But it's hard to see what a hardware platform would actually add, because if you look at the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, basically what the level of graphics and the level of gameplay they output is actually pretty much the same. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I mean, where it boils down to is actually this. You know, what do you have in your hand, and what do you shove in the drive door, or do you actually shove something in the drive door at all, or is it all just digital download? But yeah, I mean, yeah, I would just love to have seen the Dreamcast live a bit longer, because when it came out in the Netherlands, I think it was 2001 or something, but it was virtually dead. I mean, it didn't even last a full year, I think. In my opinion, the Dreamcast never actually got a fair chance. But yeah, I mean, Sega, I don't know if Sega deserves to have another shot at it, because they really were overcrowding their own market. I mean, look at the Mega Drive and the way they tried to expand that. I mean, they released the Sega CD, they released the 32X, and at the same time they released the Saturn. I mean, the 32X was competing with the Saturn, and very weird stuff. And I mean, how on earth would they think that consumers would buy the 32X when they were actually bringing out the Saturn, or had brought out the Saturn? So weird stuff. Yeah, I mean, I mean, look at the Commodore. Commodore. I mean, they had the VIC-20, but when they did the same, when they brought out the Commodore 64, they had a huge user base. But then they brought out the Commodore C16, which was totally incompatible with the Commodore 64. The C16, the Plus 4. They were incompatible. They did bring out a C128, which was for the most part compatible. But yeah, a crowded market with all these systems, not good. What I would like game companies to do is actually preserve backwards compatibility in some way, because what they are doing right now is actually they take out backwards compatibility. For example, the PlayStation 3. My version is the slim version. I had no money to buy the original when it came out, launch date. I mean, it had no games that I was interested in at the time. But they took out the PlayStation 2 backwards compatibility, and they are not in fact selling or reselling PlayStation 2 games for digital download, not that I'm aware of, but they are actually selling PlayStation 1 games for digital downloads, and so that's kind of freaky. I mean, and Microsoft does the same. I mean, they took out backwards compatibility, and they actually offered, for a while at least, original Xbox games for digital download, which is a cool thing. And I mean, if they tie it to your account, and you can have the games onto any new console you buy when the old one craps out, that's okay. But with the hack of the PlayStation 3, I mean, I'm totally going off course. I mean, I'm just rambling on. I hope you don't mind. But with the protection thing that's rumored about, that's in the rumor bill on the PlayStation 3, with actually key codes being locked to the machine, key codes that go with a specific disc, so that a specific disc can only be played on a specific machine. I mean, that to me would just ruin the whole experience, because, you know, I always have some spare consoles. So, I mean, I have 2 Dreamcasts. I've always got at least 2 consoles of any game system that I collect for, and I collect to play, so I'm not going to go for any full collection. But I mean, yeah, I mean, if your PlayStation 3 I mean, they won't function forever. So I mean, your whole bookcase with games will just be worthless. And yeah, so investing in video games is really turning out to be not such a good thing, I think, in the end, because you're investing into nothing. It's just throwaway culture. But let's move on to the third question. So question number 3 is, what was your biggest video game tragedy? I think the first video game tragedy that I experienced was actually when our old Pong machine that was hugely popular with my friends back in the day, and it was the 70s, 1976 or something. It used these big chunky batteries. I think they're called A batteries or something, or no, D cells. And there were 6 of them in there. And it was the beginning of spring, or the end of winter. We had stored the game away because we were outside playing and stuff, building tree houses and, you know, the stuff you do as a kid. And then in the fall we took out the Pong machine to play, and then these batteries were all corroded, and they actually corroded the machine, so it actually ruined the machine. The machine was just broken, so that actually made me realize that at the age of 6, that things really break. I mean, as a kid, I took apart a lot of my toys, put them back together again, and for the most part, I succeeded. I took apart machines and stuff. That was later on, but I did for the first time realize, I guess, that machines and devices could actually break even if you didn't use them. If you stored them away safely, that things would go bad. It wouldn't surprise you, of course, that I was actually very depressed at the age of 10, sitting on a swing and pondering the end of the universe. I really did, actually. I guess that's why I have become a shrink, but yeah, so that's the biggest tragedy, I guess. At the age of 6, losing that innocence, that you could just use your video game console and just, you know, use it, and seemingly like forever. You know, as a kid, a day could last forever, but yeah, at the age of 6, I realized the day doesn't last forever, that things break, even if you store them away safely, even if you're very careful with them, they just break down. And I guess that's why I always have multiple versions of my consoles, because I don't want them to break down. I'm able to repair some of them, but my soldering skills are nothing to write home about. I still am trying to improve my soldering skills. I'm actually butchering a Pentium 3 motherboard, and I'm just desoldering and soldering. But for some reason, I'm always using too much solder, and I just make a general mess out of things. So I'm good with my head. I can draw. I can make music and stuff, but soldering, I don't think it's my thing. Which is a shame, because I mean, if you're into retro gaming, it would be very nice if you could, you know, do a Thomas 3120 or a Demo Monster or the Stig thing, because these guys are actually very good at doing the hardware thing, and I'm very good at destroying them. I mean, I can take them apart, put them back together again, but actually I got a Commodore 64 motherboard which was functioning. It was repaired by UK Retro Games, and I think I may have destroyed that actually. So me trying to operate on a Commodore 64, trying to replace its guts, didn't work. At least not for me. So I'm good at just playing games rather badly, like some other YouTubers are doing, and enjoying the heck out of it, and simply take out the replacement, and if a device stops working. And, so yeah, my biggest video game tragedy, and I think I wrote 3 questions, right? Let me see. Okay, yeah, so these were all my responses to the Goon02's tag. Was this your first tag? I thought you did some others, but I guess it was. Well, it's my video response to the Goon02's tag video number 1, tagging all. Yeah, I'm not tagging all, but I'm just responding. I'm doing a lot of video responses, and yeah. Mark signing off, and I'll be back with another video soon.